I just thought I'd talk about some eldar and just say some of the strengths and weaknesses that I can think of, and just inform you on them. Alright, well, before I do that, I'd like to just say that eldar typically are like a specialist type army. They excel at one particular art of war. Some are really good at shooting. Others are really fast, and like some of them are super great at like close combat. But you have to, I think, if you want to actually do well with the eldar, it's kind of tricky too. But if you want to actually do well with the eldar, you kind of have to learn what those specialties are. I mean, for instance, if you have a ranger squad and maybe like a dark reaper squad, those two squads are great at shooting. They're amazing at shooting, but you don't want to give them in close combat because they're going to suck, and they're not going to do what they're really good at, which is shooting. So it kind of hurts you. That's just like if you had like a striking scorpion squad that was trying to outshoot the enemy. They're really good at combat. You want to make sure you use them for that role. So if you don't use them for that role, whatever role the unit is, you're gonna have a tough time. It's just not gonna flow the way you want it, and it's just gonna seem like it's a catastrophe. But other than that, I'm just gonna talk about some strengths and weaknesses. Some of the strengths I like about them, is the fact that they're very flexible. I mean, they just have a great selection, just an amazing selection of HQ choices and fast attack and elites and heavy support, and I mean there's just tons and tons. Like almost all of them are just amazing, especially the elites. Their elites are just great, and that kind of also includes their weapons too. Their weapon, like they have a large arrayment of just tons of guns that are different in range and strength, and like assault types and AP and everything. So they have a ton of flexibility and great selection of choices. Another thing I like about them is like the fact that a lot of their units have you can either bring like warlocks or a wave serpent, which is really nice because you can kind of build a unit if you bring a warlock to kind of like do what you want to do. If you give the warlock a certain power, and if you don't want your guys getting shot at, you can put them in a wave serpent and just use that as a transport, which is really nice. Because a lot of them have an armor save anywhere from like a 3 to a 5, so you never really know how long they're gonna survive if you just leave them out in the open on the table. But with that, the wave serpent is another great thing. It's a dedicated transport, and it is quite expensive. It's 90 points, but it's a tank. It's a tank. It's not like like an orc truck or something. It's a tank. So, and you can kind of build it. You can kind of build it to do like multiple roles. Obviously, if you bring it, it's going to be transporting people. But you could use it to you can bring it for anti-infantry. You can use it as a role to just transport guys, and that's it. Or you can bring it as a role to take out vehicles. It's really nice. And that kind of goes for all their tanks. Their tanks. You look at their tanks and vehicles. Like the Falcon and the Fire Prism, and you kind of look at them the first time you see them, you're like 115 points for 12s, and that's the highest you get in eldar is it's 12, which sucks. But if you upgrade them the right way, they could live like 5 times longer than you think, which is really nice. So and they are devastating, if you use them properly. I like another good strength is like their psychic powers. The warlock, is great in like powers, but the farseer is just amazing powers. In fact, they're like too good in my opinion not to even utilize it in your eldar army. The farseer's powers are just amazing. What else? They're a really nice army to see on the table. It's if you actually take the time to paint them, they look great. And you can kind of build in the way you like. They are specialized type of army, but you can kind of build eldar. They kind of, like every army, you can kind of still build it the way you want it. If you want to run like an all Harlequin, or like all like Wraith Guard, Wraith Lord type, or tons of like Seer, like councils and stuff. And they're like tanks and just crazy jet bikes. I mean, it's still, even though they're specialized, like I said, you can still kind of build them the way you want, which is nice. They have great initiative. A lot of them have high initiative, and they have tons of characters and Phoenix lores and HQ choices. So it's kind of like pick and choose. And then it goes for a lot of their units. You kind of just pick and choose because they're all really good. Kind of like whatever one you like, just bring them. That's the only thing I can really think of for strengths. But some of their weaknesses I can think of is the obvious, and that's like their strength and toughness is only a 3. So, I mean, like I said, their armor is kind of like anywhere in between like a 3 to a 5. So I mean, if you have a 3, you're gonna live a little longer, but you're going to take a decent amount of wounds from anything, from like a lot of shooting. If you're not in cover and so forth, you're probably going to take a lot of armor saves, which is another thing, actually. If you don't really dish out wounds, you're going to find that you're going to like fail pretty quickly. I mean, if you take more wounds than you dish out, really. Just because, like I said, your toughness is only a 3, so you're going to be taking a decent amount. But it's not that you can't dish them out. They have tons of units, like tons of, like I said, shooting, and tons of like crazy close combat fighters that are amazing at dishing out wounds. It's just, and you actually, if you have high initiative and you go first, you're going to dish out a lot of wounds. It's just the fact that if they survive that and they actually hit you back, it's not going to go over that great for you, in most cases. That's pretty much all I can think of, though. But I don't know. I guess I'll just do some HQ and maybe some troops or something in the next one.